morning and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Debbie's Grill. We talk on matters that concern the state, void of politics, fear, or favor. Now, the Deputy National Women's Organizer of the New Patriotic Party, Hajia Safia Mohammed, has criticized the government of President John Dramani Mahama for terminating the contract of school feeding caterers just days before the reopening of schools. The former coordinator of the Ghana School Feeding Program under former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo expressed concern over the timing of the decision, describing it as unfair and inconsiderate towards women who have no political affiliation. According to her, the termination occurred merely 3 days before schools were set to reopen, at a time when most caterers had already purchased cooking materials. This is a clear case of injustice, she said. We are all Ghanaians, and this action is most unfair, especially to women. We told the transition team that the academic calendar will end in August and that the women are still under contract. School was scheduled to reopen on Tuesday and the termination later came on Friday. So she further stated that more than 34 women, including single mothers, widows, and other vulnerable individuals, had heavily vested into food items in anticipation of cooking for school children. So Hajia Safia emphasized that under the NPP administration, former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo allowed caterers to complete 1-year contract terms before any decision regarding renewal or termination. The NPP did not do the same. We waited for them to finish the contract and paid them fully and then made decision. But under the NDC, not only have the contract been terminated, but the women are also still owed payment for the second term, she alleged. She called on the government to uphold the rule of law and ensure that citizens, especially women, are treated with fairness and respect. So this has to do with the termination of a school feeding program by the current administration. The contract was terminated. And it was because they want to restructure the whole program. Now, you see, it's quite sad noticing that some people now find their voice to speak about certain issues, because when they were in power, it looks as if they were so quiet. Now, Madam Hajia Safia is saying that what the current administration is doing is a violation to women, especially because most of them are women. And it is very sad for you to, sign a contract with these caterers. And then at the end of the day, you terminate the contract just like that without any formal notice. She's saying it is very, very bad. And that under the previous administration, the former president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, extended the contract for 1 full year. Now, maybe she has forgotten, because even during the previous administration, the contract was extended to 1 full year, but these caterers were not being paid. Or have we forgotten so soon that these caterers came out some time ago to demonstrate, protest to the government, pour out their grievances, because they've been working for closely to a year, a whole year, let me put it that way, and they are not being paid. And this is a contract where the government does not give you money to start. You venture in with your own money, or you invest in with your own money at the beginning, and then after you are done, say maybe for the whole of August, the government then comes in to pay you per head. Meaning, if each student is taking like 2 cedis or 3 cedis, and then you are feeding about 100 or 200 students, they will pay you according to that. Now, this caterers has worked for almost 1 good year, and they are not being paid. And even before this current administration came on board, they made an announcement that they are going to restructure the school feeding program. So I'm sure that these caterers were aware. And you see, this contract with the caterers is not as if a long-term something. It's something like a short-term program they are undertaking, even though this feeding program started way back and not under the previous or the current administration. Now, the then Minister of Gender, Hajia Safia, having also forgotten so soon that she came out some time ago to draw the public attention to the corruption embedded in this school feeding program. And then according to her, before she was appointed as the Minister of Gender and also in charge of this school feeding program, this whole school feeding program, the president asked her, to put on paper some of the things he find not suitable for the program. And then she said she did exactly that. But when it got there, some top political officials, stamped on it and they took no action. And so you called on the current administration that, see, it is good to feed the students, but you don't know what is going on the grounds. Most of these caterers do not even do the needful. When you get there and then you see the kind of food they feed the students, it's very bad. So it will be good for you to restructure. Just as the way you want to reset the economy, it will be fine if you will reset and restructure this whole feeding program to ensure that there is no corruption and ensure that the people or the caterers you go in for are competent enough and to feed this student with balanced meal. And so this is part of the restructuring. So why then will you say that the current administration is violating the right of women? How are they violating the right of women? That's what I don't understand. Violating the right of women in which way exactly? I want to understand. Because these are caterers who are cooking for the students. And then the government is like, listen, we want to go into it deeper. We want to put things at the right places. And so we are terminating your contract. But the money we owe you, say maybe this month or next month, will be paid. Why is this issue so, it's becoming some way, and then I see people talking about the issue. See, we are not dealing with politics here. We are talking about the fact here. And this school feeding program, I will tell you that one way or the other is being politicized. Because I've seen incidents, I've seen videos where people say that the school feeding program was given to political officials and they've pushed away the vulnerable citizens. And I've also seen a video where, the meals they're supposed to serve these students per head, that's not what they are doing. When you get to the ground, that is where you know the exact issue or the exact concerns of these caterers or the exact ongoings. So with the government terminating this contract, this has nothing to do with violating women's rights. How is it violating women's rights? The government has noticed some hitches in the school feeding program and he said, listen, I want to restructure it. And so I'm terminating the contract. Who knows? Maybe they will terminate the contract and then they'll come back to pick all the same caterers because I'm sure you apply. And I know that when you apply, it doesn't end there. You will be asked some sort of questions and some 1, 2, or 3, pin down some things and then ensure that you are competent enough. You're going to provide the students with balanced meal. So please, let's stop the politicization of these issues because the previous government came, he did it, he left and another government came and they want to do some reforms or something. So you feel like they are violating the rights of women. I do not understand. Maybe someone can actually explain to me further for me to understand. Because when we talk of violating, women's rights or something, from my understanding, it's different from what Hajia Safia is saying, the former coordinator of the Ghana School Feeding Program is saying. Reset. They are resetting the school feeding program. That is what they are doing. And the same party member has made us understand that this school feeding program is embedded with corruption. And some of these caterers does not do the needful. So if the government wants to restructure it, why so many rants here and there? Why not just keep quiet and see what comes out of it? As I said, who knows? Maybe those same caterers they've terminated their contracts will be the same people that they are going to sign contracts with again for these school feeding program issues. So please, I mean, when it has to do with education, it's not only going to class to learn, I understand. Conducive environment is part. And listen, when you don't eat and then you get to the classroom, whatever the teacher teaches is cost 90 log 1. So the feeding program is a laudable one. And I don't know whether you remember, the previous government even said that they were making false claims that when this current administration comes on board, they are going to terminate it. That, like, they're going to cancel the feeding program itself. But what do? They say they want to restructure it. And now we are talking about violation of women's rights. Please, when it comes to national issues and national interests, let's see how we go about it. And let's do away with politics. Because Party A came and they did this, and because you feel like Party B are on board and they are not doing according to your will or what you like, and so they are doing the wrong thing. No. When it comes to national interest. When it comes to issues that needs to be politicized, that's a different issue altogether. Let's pay attention to keynotes. Thank you for making time with me on Debbie's Grill.